Yeah, I'm thinking it's slop. Welcome, welcome to Hogslop Tuesdays nights. Uh, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't really feel like streaming today, and then I wasn't going to, but then I felt bad, so I said I'll do it. I'll do it in the evening. Give myself time to just gather my energies. You know, because I couldn't leave you without the slop. I haven't missed a hog slop Tuesday yet, and I don't want to. And I'll tell you, I've missed most of the gaming streams at this point, but I think the slop is different, right? Like you need the slop. Like the gaming is a nice to have, but the slop that's at the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Like you need slop, and then you can get all the nice to haves like food and shelter and love and all that stuff. Buffy Geek, thank you for the subscription. But so it's slop I promised and slop I shall deliver. But of course, to all things there is a season, and even though we're doing this at night, at least in my time zone, we're still gonna do a pre slop yap. We're still doing the pre slop yap. Like that's there's a way things are done in this country, and they're trying to change it, you know. But we're traditionalists around here. Not sponsored, by the way. Do I think quantum mechanics or general relativity makes a more compelling case for why I keep losing socks? You're losing socks for the same reason that everybody's losing socks, because they're getting caught in the drum of your dryer. There's like some method you can use to open it up and get at the delicious socks within, but that's why. So I guess in a sense, like both apply. Both quantum physics and general relativity are involved in the process, as indeed they are with every process in the known universe. Puka the Duka, thank you for the subscription as well. Can I give you my most controversial Naruto opinion? I have no opinions to offer you on Naruto, having not watched it, because I think the idea of a ninja wearing an orange jumpsuit offends my sensibilities. It's not a stealthy outfit. Now, sure, he's a ninja in training, so maybe that's part of like the if you have to learn to be able to do it in the orange jumpsuit in order to earn wearing the dark colors of a ninja. But I simply can't abide this malarkey. Aren't socks too big for quantum mechanics to apply? The entire sock, surely, but within the sock, there are many chemical processes best explained by quantum physics. You know what I mean? It's all sock is made of. No, I'm not a scientist, and don't let the extremely erudite explanation I'm about to give you convince you otherwise. But sock is made of atom. Atom has quantums in it, and so sock is made of quantums. Ipso fatso, quantum science explains sock. A lot of you are denying science right now, and I don't think you realize that. A lot of you are like we're all having fun, but like I'm trying to educate here. Another possible explanation is, of course, a Mr. Bumpy scenario, which we cannot rule out at this time, that you are being harangued by a Mr. Bumpy, a figure of terror in the sock community. He's a little monster that lives under your bed, and he eats your stinky socks. He's a pervert, and he has an inappropriate relationship with your sister's doll. And mostly he does a lot of jazz singing. His best friend lives in the toilet. It's a whole fucked up scenario. But that we can't rule this out. I'm referencing the children's program from the 90s, Bump in the Night, which nobody who is here was alive to witness, but it happened. I saw it. It was a real show. The art of the ninja is the art of being unnoticed, which is why he's a loud, annoying, smelly, homeless child with Guy Fieri hair. I will admit that my opinions on Naruto, and I have no idea if it's Naruto or Naruto, and I don't intend to learn, uh, are prejudiced by the fact that I knew a guy in university who would always dress up as Naruto, and that has made me disinclined to give it the benefit of the doubt as a program. Because like you like there's lots of animes. I don't dress like Chainsaw Man. Love Chainsaw Man. Don't dress like Chainsaw Man. Don't wear chainsaws on my face. Should I? That's a different question, I suppose. In my 40 years, I can't say I know Bump in the Night, so while I'm old enough, I'm not cool enough. I don't think it's actually like a measure of that. Uh, I certainly don't feel any cooler than you for remembering the 90s children's program Bump in the Night. You ever think about how Robot Jocks is a movie that exists and most people only partly know it because of a Nine Inch Nails sample? Not only does Robot Jocks exist, I believe the director is someone I'm very. Who's the director of Robot Jocks? Stuart Gordon of Reanimator fame. That was what I was going to guess, but I didn't want to get it wrong. Stuart Gordon, the director of such films as Reanimator uh, and Bride of Reanimator, but not the third Reanimator, also made Robot Jocks. Sidebar: since we're talking about movies, I really miss Scaredy Cat videos. I uh, I might have to make a Scaredy Cats video. I recently saw the movie Mother Mary, and I don't think I've ever felt as strongly about a movie in my life in a negative sense. Not that there's like something insidious about it, but just like it is a movie that is firing on every cylinder except one, which is maybe the worst script I've ever seen adapted into a movie. And like the music is great, the visuals are great, the characters, the not the characters, the actors are great. The script is such dog shit, and it's such an interesting conflict between like a movie where everyone involved is very competent and everyone is making really interesting choices except for whoever wrote the script, which is the same person who directed it, which is I forget his name, but it's the same guy who did Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. It is truly unthinkable. It is a it's difficult to just explain why the script is so bad without just recounting to you what happens in the movie. But essentially, the central conflict of it is that there's this pop star, essentially she's Lady Gaga, that is trying to resolve this schism in the relationship between her and the woman who initially had designed all of her dresses because she needs a new dress for a concert that she's about to do. But her dressmaker absolutely hates her guts And it's because several years before the film began, uh, the pop star decided she didn't want the dressmaker to make her dresses anymore. And the dressmaker has held on to this resentment about it for like literal decades. And it's the worst thing to ever happen to her. And it's described in the most like grandiose terms, like hating her is the only thing that gives her life meaning at this point. And like, this is like where the conflict is these two people who should have absolutely no reason to feel this strongly about the situation, trying to resolve the conflict, the ticking clock of the film, which is that a dress needs to get made for a concert because the dress that she already has for the concert, she doesn't feel like it represents her. And this is treated like with world-ending stakes. Like this is the most important thing of either person's life. And it's just like the movie has it gives you no reason to care about either of these women. It just takes for granted that you're just going to understand that this is like the most important thing in the universe at this moment. To wit, uh, a ghost who may be also an avatar of the Virgin Mary or a scarf, hard to say, literally intervenes to repair this relationship so that the pop star can perform the miracle of getting this dress made in time for the big concert. It and if it sounds at all like I am being uncharitable to this movie, I am I am being like I am giving you the short version because everything I have said is to make it comprehensible to you. The actual movie doesn't explain any of this. It just has images kind of flashing, and you're meant to infer most of this. Is she the last dressmaker left in the world after some kind of dressmaker killing virus ravages the earth? The implication is meant to be that like this pop star figure, Mother Mary, who's the protagonist. There's the woman who performs that character, and then both her and the dressmaker collaborate to make this character. But that does kind of imply that like equally important to the work of being a pop star, a pop musician, is like the costume designer of that pop musician. That both of those people are have an equal claim to the success of any pop star. What movie are we talking about? It's called Mother Mary, and it has the worst script of any movie I think I've ever seen. Like just it's impossible. And the thing you absolutely have to understand is this is treated like it is like they're trying to avoid World War III. Like that's how seriously they're taking it. Like I couldn't possibly explain it to you in a way that conveys how important they try to make it seem that this woman gets a dress for her concert that she feel represents her better than the previous dress that she had already for the concert. And also, when she does get it, 'cause spoiler alert, the dress gets finished for the movie, it is treated as though this is a miracle from God akin to the birth of Christ. This is I am not at all I am not at all speaking figuratively. This is not the subtext of the movie. It is the text of the movie. It's incredible. It is a film where a slightly worse script could give us a new Malignant. It is a worse script than Malignant because Malignant is a bonkers story, but it follows the structure of a story. Like the inferences made in that story and like the kind of leaps of logic of it are silly and wacky. But this is just a series. It feels like a stage play, but it is not well written enough to be a stage play. Does it at least circle back around by being so bad it's good? Absolutely not. It is a joyless experience. It is like I was counting the seconds until the film was over. Is it just the characters acting like that, or is it the framing of it all? It's both, but like literally, as people are describing it, they're looking to heaven to like, and the universe is interceding in events in order to bring about the prophesized dress. Like it is though this is the fulcrum upon which the fate of reality swivels. And that's my rant on the film Mother Mary. It's a oh boy, and like I cannot recommend anyone watch it, but I cannot stress to you enough how much I am not exaggerating about any of this. I am, if anything, underplaying it. Where did this movie originate from? I assume it's American. It stars Anne Hathaway, and I don't know the other actor's name, but she was the star of the Netflix show Chewing Gum, and both of them are great in it. Let's be clear about that. But there's nothing they could do. They are just stuck with like a what should have been an unfilmable script. The fact that it made it to film is incredible. Michaela Cole, yeah, I guess. I don't know, probably. If it was just the characters being over the top and dramatic, I think you could make the argument it's camp. But from what you say, they really thought this was gold, huh? The self satisfaction in this movie is through the roof. Like it really expects you. It does not provide you a reason to care why any of this happens. It expects you to just intuit it. That like this is the most important thing in the universe at this moment. That is simply taken for granted. I want desperately to see the movie because Hunter Schafer is in it. I'll tell you, she's in two scenes. She is in literally two scenes of this movie. I will no, there three scenes, but she doesn't really do anything until like literally the last 2 minutes of the movie. And even then, it's only because one of the principal characters, it wouldn't make sense for her to be in the room. So they had to give all of her lines to someone else. It sounds like Smile too, if there was no stakes, tension, or smile. There is tension, or at least the attempt to construct tension. It just never, that tension is never resolves or coheres into anything. It is and I'm conscious of how long I've complained about this movie. I should probably just make a video about it, but uh, every second of this movie is treated as the climax of the movie. Like every single line delivered is the most important line, that like that's the thing that you're going to cut, and it's going to be the the uh the the highlight, right? Uh you know how like in a movie there are moments of like action and then relief and then action and then relief. This one is all just rising action. But after a certain point, it just stops working because you're like, well, you haven't done anything interesting yet. Why am I to believe that you're going to do it next time? And indeed, it doesn't. Indeed, nothing interesting happens throughout the movie. It's truly, yeah. It, I cannot explain the experience of having watched it. Sounds like a more experimental version of Phantom Thread. Isn't it difficult to work with artists? Like, yes, you've hit the nail on the head in a sense, but you you are looking at it from the perspective of you would write this script not sympathizing with the characters over their incredibly specific problems that no one can relate to, and the movie absolutely does not. The movie absolutely just expects you to see everything from the perspective of these two incredibly self-involved narcissists. And it does not recognize it as doing that. Is the cinematography at least good? I cannot stress this point enough either. Everything about the movie is good except for a remarkably bad script. Like the cinematography, the acting, the music, the visuals, everything. It just like it looks gorgeous, it sounds gorgeous. Everyone is acting their heart out. It just cannot save this unworkable story. What film is this? I'm referring to Mother Mary. Cannot recommend. 2 out of 10 qualified. Recommend, I guess. It is like I know this gets thrown around a lot, but it is the A24 film that people who hate A24 think every A24 film is. Favorite recent movie? Probably Weapons, depending on how we're defining recent, I suppose. I also really enjoyed Send Help. But you know what I like more than either of those things? The slop. Who is ready for the slop? I'd like to pivot this conversation back to Naruto. I gave you the perfect opportunity with Weapons and you didn't take it. Who wants the slop? Show me that you want the slop and you'll get the slop. Because right now I'm not seeing people don't seem like they're that fussed about the slop. And until I know that everyone is on board, do we want this? Who wants the slop? Clap if you want the slop. Clap for me. Stand up and say McDonald's. Today, so recently, because I've been watching so much dog shit right wing content for this show, my algorithm on the official Thoughts Slime YouTube account is just fucked. It's just fucked forever, which is great in terms of sourcing new slop. Not so great anytime I have to log in, because it will go like, do you want to watch this video about the great replacement theory? Not really. No, I don't. Thank you. But I did find a video that I think we're all going to like. This video is called How the Radical Left Dehumanizes the Right by Remnant777. I realize now that in switching browsers, I have fucked up where this... Hold on, I got to fix this. There we go. This is called How the Radical Left Dehumanizes the Right. And I've been looking for a video like this, to be honest, because I want to know how to do it. I assume this is a guide on the best methods for dehumanizing the right. And this will be an instructional video about how we might best do that. Because I'm tired of them walking around acting all human. I want to make them look like a bunch of monsters. That's why we call this Hogslop. I'm calling them hogs, the literal opposite of a human being, a pig. You ask any scientist and they'll tell you pigs have no qualities in common with human beings. By the way, in case you're wondering who this Remnant777 figure is, as I was, because I'd never heard of them before. They've only got like 100,000 subscribers, but I've not got much more than that, so it's not like I'm punching down. They made this video comes right after their work about how white people did not own slaves. So the very next video they made was how the left dehumanizes people. Just to really put this in perspective, that it's not dehumanizing. It's worth apologizing for the institution of chattel slavery, but when leftists call you mean names, that is dehumanizing. So without further ado, the slop.
You are a horrible person. You deserve to be insulted and attacked. You are not deserving of a civil conversation.
I just want to point out something right away. Those are not dehumanizing things to say. It is not dehumanizing to be told that you are a horrible person. It is not dehumanizing to be told you are not worth having a conversation with. If someone were to say, you do not have the capacity to have a conversation because you don't possess a mind, that would be dehumanizing, certainly.
This always confused me because I love debates. I love listening to debates online, whether...
Of this I have no doubt. Of this I have zero doubt.
Whether that be from left-wing people or right-wing people, or
his example of a left-wing person is Destiny. Love that so far.
Simply when I watch left-wing commentators. And when I hear somebody say this, it always puzzled me. Why would you say this? You're a horrible, evil person, you don't deserve common respect or courtesy, and I'm not going to entertain a conversation with you. You're not going to convince anybody when you're accusing them of something that they don't believe, and that is obviously untrue. And you're just calling them evil, and you're attacking them, you're just insulting them.
But like, can people be evil? Is the question. Like, I would say, yeah. Kind of definitionally, evil is like you have the capacity to do good, but instead you do bad, right? That one would in fact need to be human to do evil. It's because only humans have the capacity, the knowledge of good and evil.
What do you hope to gain from this? And I thought about this for weeks on end. It bugged me to no end, but I figured it out. And unfortunately, I came to a very grim conclusion. You see, those statements, you're not worthy of respect or courtesy, we cannot have a civil conversation, none.
But like, do you... None of this is dehumanizing, by the way. To say like I don't want to talk to you. That's not dehumanizing. To say that you don't deserve a conversation is not dehumanizing. Like this is what this guy considers dehumanizing, right? But like when the right is like wanting to take away people's civil rights, that's just a difference of opinion.
None of that is designed to persuade you. It's designed to radicalize the people who already agree with him. If you had two commentators and they're discussing and they're talking things out, and one of them says that to the other, their goal is no longer to talk things out with you. Their goal is to simply radicalize, polarize, and isolate their own audience.
Okay, so just right off the bat, right? Let's if someone came to you and they said, let's have a civil debate about whether or not you should shit on a slice of bread and eat it for breakfast, you would say, absolutely not. I'm not going to debate that. That's a bad idea. I don't want to eat the yucky toast. It would taste bad. It would taste like poop. No, thank you, you would say. Because everyone has a line for which, once crossed, no discussion is reasonable, right? It's simply that we are consistent with ours. It seems to be the issue you have a problem with here is that when we say if you're willing to do harm to people, if you think it is permissible to oppress people based on their sexual identity, their race, their gender, what have you, then it's simply not worth discussing because we have completely different value systems and there's nothing productive to be had here. It is, to me, on the same level as someone trying to argue to me that I should eat shit. No, just no productive discussion is possible. We see the world in fundamentally different ways. And nothing about that is dehumanizing. It's simply that, like, there is no value in the perspective of someone who believes that it's permissible to hurt others, to hurt innocent people.
Go.
Dude,
Start
stop
talking.
bulging. I'm just
Shut
trying
up.
to argue in good faith with you.
You're not arguing in good faith at all. You're over here insulting women, saying they're useless and weak, and then saying the difference of 5 pounds
When
is
did
gonna
I
make it
say
so a
they're
woman
useless and
can't be in the fucking military. You're one of the most embarrassing, pathetic pieces of.
Now that's interesting. He says he didn't say that. I wonder where that source not listed. Can you believe it?
Shit that I've ever encountered.
Why are you so mad?
Because you are
I said
pathetic.
they're not.
It's to paint the other person as an evil human being that cannot be talked to or reasoned to. This video is designed for people who are right-wing. Title obviously says how the radical left dehumanizes people on the right. But for people who are left-wing who just so happen to click on this video, I'm going to try and give examples that
Thank
you
you.
can also relate to and understand.
And I bet he will. I think he will. I think he's going to convince us.
If you had two people and one person said, I care about these kids who claim to be trans, but I don't think they're trans. I think that they're simply confused. I think that they need to get some help. And the other side simply says, you want trans kids to die. You hate them because he said those things. He's not aiming to convince that person. That's not going to.
Maybe not, but it is nonetheless accurate. Because if you were to say, I care about these trans children and I don't want them to die, then the only reasonable thing to be done about that is to support gender affirming care, because that is the only means we have as of yet devised to prevent the huge suicide rate among trans youth who are not given that care. So it's actually kind of pointless to say I care about them, but I don't want to save their lives, right? That is, you might not be saying you want to kill them. It can be inferred from what you are saying. Thank you for the super chat. The Lion Roars Elite.
Convince him. The right-wing person doesn't believe any of those claims that are being made against him. The sole
It doesn't matter though, because whether or not they believe that is the case, it is reality. Like let's turn this around, right? When a left-wing person and I'll frame this in a way that I think a right-wing person would see it, right? If you make this a debate about abortion, you don't think that the right-wing person is going to say that the people arguing in favor of abortion are evil, that they simply want to murder babies? Do you think this is an entirely left-wing phenomenon?
purpose of those statements are to make it so that people no longer interact with or communicate with people who make those claims. It kills discourse because you can better
Or
isolate.
potentially, perhaps, it is a statement that you believe to be true. Like, perhaps if I say, what you are suggesting would kill people, and thus I think is a bad suggestion, that is not me trying to insinuate that this person should be dismissed from society, thrown into the woods, and left to fester. It is merely that I believe that about what they are saying.
People and polarize people if they no longer communicate. And for my left-wing audience, let me give you a right-wing example so that you can relate to this. If
What do you think? Will he choose abortion, do you think?
you're talking to a person and you say you're pro-choice, you say, I'm in favor of women's rights, I want them to have access to women's healthcare, it protects women and it also gives them freedom. Imagine you said those things and the other person, instead of engaging with anything you said, they simply claim against you, actually, you're a Satanist. You simply
I need not imagine this. It happens all the time.
want to sacrifice babies to Moloch or Satan. You're a Satanist right now. You hate.
But like, you understand though, it is a false dichotomy, because if I were to say to a right-wing person, what you are saying will result in trans youth killing themselves, and thus I think it is a bad thing to suggest, that is a real demonstrable claim that can be backed up with evidence. If a right-wing person loses their mind on me and calls me a Satanist, it is demonstrably untrue. So that's kind of the difference.
Life. You want to kill innocent babies. That's all you want at the end of the day. You just hate babies. How can you talk to or communicate with a person like that? People on the right, if they truly believe those things, how could they possibly ever have a rational conversation with you? They can't. You're an evil Satanist. We can't talk to you. And it basically has the exact same effect. It's intended to have that exact same effect, but for the other side. Especially considering you don't believe any of those things. I guarantee 99% of my audience who's pro-choice, they're probably not Satanists who want to sacrifice babies to Moloch. Okay.
No, but regardless, you'll notice also as I dispute his claim, I'm not saying at all that I think Remnant 777 wants trans youth to kill themselves. I don't think that. I have no reason to think that. I think if I had to make an educated guess, he's probably okay with it happening, based on the positions he's taken in this video. But that is not merely me just asserting that based on nothing. It's because it's fundamentally a false comparison, because they're asserting that you have this wild other motive based on nothing, whereas we are even in your straw man example pointing out that the thing that happens as a result of your argument is bad, therefore your argument is a bad thing.
Okay, can we agree on that? I think so. Yet I'm sure this is not the first time you've heard that talking point, right? That's what's happening in American politics today. And the exact purpose behind this is so that they can radicalize their own audience. Because
what about when, as we watched last week, culture warriors try to claim that gay people are adopting children so that they can sexually assault them? What about people who present someone losing in a swimming competition as an assault on women's sports because they tied for 5th place with a trans woman? What about if someone started a moral panic about trans people in bathrooms, and that became like the major talking point of an entire political party, compared to me saying, well, I don't think you have anything to say on this subject. I don't want to talk to you. It's
that pushes them away from honest, open communication with the other side and pushes them towards taking action. We need revolutionaries. We don't need people who can think. And I've broken it down to what literally every radical leftist does. In our train of thought, we start off with Nazi. Nazis are bad because they killed innocent people. They killed quite a few if you know anything about history. And we don't talk to Nazis.
Which specific people did they kill? Might be worth making that point. Who was it that the Nazis killed? Quite a few groups one could throw in there.
Instead, we should make them feel uncomfortable. In fact, good people will do bad things to Nazis. We're supposed to punch Nazis. But you know what Nazis are also? They're fascists. Nazis are fascists. But what is fascism, you may ask? Well, we're not really going to specify that. We're
Oh, yeah, I specify it every time. It's paleoconservative ultranationalism. It's very well defined.
going to leave it nice and vague because we're simply going to talk about what fascism means to me. And what fascism means to me is simply whatever I disagree with that infringes on my freedoms and rights. If you disagree with
That's categorically not what it means. And no one seriously makes that argument. Well, I will say the right will occasionally say that being denied the ability to comment on a YouTube video or getting blocked on Twitter is fascism. So they kind of seem to believe that fascism is when their rights are impugned in any way. But no, I don't think that is the leftist position.
women's rights to abort children, you're a fascist. If you disagree with trans rights to mutilate themselves, you're a fascist.
I don't think that opposing either of those things makes you a fascist. However, a fascist would oppose both of those things and historically have. And a trans person's right to mutilate themselves. Do you think it is mutilation when the same procedures are performed on cis people? Like, this video is meant to be saying that, like, the left uses this inflammatory rhetoric because they have no real argument and they just want to push people towards violence. And then he frames this as, no, I believe, the left believes we should not only we should have the right to mutilate ourselves. Like, you're doing the very thing that you're accusing the left of doing. I know that shouldn't come as a surprise.
That's how their train of thought goes. And who exactly is fascist again? Literally everybody who voted for Trump.
No, it's paleoconservative ultranationalists. A great like anyone who is a paleoconservative ultranationalist, again, would have voted for Trump. Trump is a fascist. I'm sure he roped in a bunch of people who don't necessarily align with that definition into voting for him.
Half of the American population, that is fascist. But wait, if you're fascist, that means you're a Nazi. And if you're a Nazi,
no, it doesn't. Wrong again.
It's good if bad things happen to you. You see what I'm getting at? These are the mental gymnastics they go through in order to justify violence against you. These people literally have more sympathy for child murderers, abusers, and than people who vote right wing. And again,
well, I'm glad you brought that up, actually. A good example of someone who is a rapist and a child molester is Donald Trump, the guy you were just saying that it's totally cool to vote for. It's an interesting little note.
Again, I want to make it clear. I literally have nothing against people who are left-wing. I enjoy talking to them.
Clearly.
I think they're fun people. We disagree on practically everything, but I still like them. I still can be friends with them. I don't have a problem with people who are left-wing. I want to clarify that. We are simply exploring the radical left, which is becoming much more prominent these days. Yet take note of this. They don't overtly condone violence. They don't. That would get them banned off of YouTube, or worse, they could possibly be imprisoned because that's illegal. And the left is not known for being brave, mind you. Instead,
it is absolutely not illegal to condone violence, particularly in the United States, where I assume this person is based. You literally have written into your Constitution, it's the very First Amendment, the right to express any opinion.
they like to play it safe. If somebody they disagree with dies, they don't condemn it, they don't care. In fact, they're gonna laugh at it. That's all they can do. That's as close to the edge they're willing to go.
Corey Comparator was a horrible person. Dying for your child does not mean that you love them or take good care of them. What? The Trump supporter that died was a lunatic. He was most likely a fascist, and I mean, he was at a Trump rally, man. What do you expect? Like, he probably wanted trans people to die.
When a Trump supporter dies, who cares? He probably was a fascist.
So, how many people die in a day? How many people die in like 10,000? How many people die in a day? Let me look this up. 150 to 170,000 people, according to the dumb shit AI on Google. And what am I supposed to have a breakdown about each and every one of them? What about the people who die as a result of the policies of Trump? What about all the people who are going to die of starvation because he let Elon Musk gut US aid? Why do their lives not seem to matter in this equation? But some guy who had politics that we don't like, we're supposed to stop and give our thoughts and prayers every single time.
In fact, let's laugh at him. Let's dance on his grave. After all, you shouldn't be made to feel safe. Hassan, for example, he overtly hates white Christians. He hates us so much that he flat out admits it would be better if they got than other groups.
Henry College is like doing one good thing, which is that like if you have these millionaire, billionaire, WASP fail sons, at least taking them out of other colleges so they can only do date to other billionaire, millionaire failed daughters is like in some respects a little bit better.
So
what a wild misreading of what he is saying. What a wild misread. What an insane takeaway. Holy shit, dude. Like, you had to sail over the point that he was trying to make here, which, let's be clear, kind of sucks. In order to, oh my God. He is not saying that it is better if white Christians get raped than non-white Christians. He is saying that the people who are likely to do it, being cordoned off and kept away from other people, is a better situation. Holy shit. And by the way, it seems like he's being a little tongue-in-cheek about it. Wow.
let's recap. It's not only better for us to be they also don't care when we die, and they also get pleasure out of it. They'll laugh on your grave because you deserve it. After all, you have an evil ideology, and there's
Yeah, well, okay. Well, hey, what about how the right literally puts forth policies that don't just like hurt your feelings after you're dead, but actually, in fact, kill millions of people? How about the fact that the president you just expressed tacit support for, like, what was it, like 2 weeks ago, said he was going to eradicate an entire civilization, that an entire civilization would be wiped from the earth, but we are meant to, it is the left that is raising the political temperature by not crying when fascists get killed?
no possible way that you could believe those things and not be evil, deserving of death. Do you still not believe me when I say those things? You're going to. Not only do they laugh when we die,
You're going to.
but Hassan openly admits that people should landlords.
Well, my understanding is that the property owners who have properties there choose just not to rent it at all.
Yeah,
As a result.
kill those motherfuckers in a video game. Sorry. Holy shit. Murder those motherfuckers in the street. Let the streets soak in their fucking red capital.
First of all, that is a reach. Managing her commercial real estate properties does not make her necessarily a landlord. And secondly, like, who gives a shit, man? Do you think, like, are people going out killing landlords? Like, what? Like, just,
Bloods, dude.
there's no substance to this. Like, it is just like, this is, yeah, fucking leftists hate landlords. Yeah, we want to be rid of landlords. Yes. Like, yeah, no shit, dude.
Oh my god, in a video game, of course.
Because he's a communist. He's a crypto communist. But
No, he's not a crypto communist. He's an open communist. He's very clear about that, in fact.
Hassan, he's not a man of principles. He doesn't care about morality, especially when it comes to telling the truth. Being
Does not care
honest
about
is a
telling the truth.
disadvantage to these people. No, instead, he needs to spread the good, holy Marxist spirit. even to Landlord's podcast, where he shares his beliefs, and he does not hesitate to lie to their face about what socialism is.
It is about equity instead of equality. That's what people misunderstand about socialism. It is not about equity instead of equality at all. We don't have material equality as a
This is incredible because he started this video by saying that the left makes no attempt to understand the arguments of their opponents. And here he is saying that that the left merely puts words in the mouth of their opponents and doesn't let them define their own positions, but instead defines their positions for them, and is now about to say, actually, what you're saying you believe is not what you actually believe. You believe this different thing.
baseline in this country. We don't have that at all. I'm advocating for a baseline of material equality, and I'm advocating for better worker protections, better worker rights, and less alienation.
That's all a lie. That's a fucking lie. What he's talking about can happen in a capitalist system, and it is explicitly not what socialism is about. It's not about materially equal conditions. That's called welfare or redistribution, which capitalism can do, right? You're talking specifically about getting rid of or eliminating the profit, or at the very least, redirecting the profit to workers. You want to destroy private ownership because owners that don't work.
Why? Why would one seek to do that? What is it about redistributing that profit to the worker that appeals to Hassan, do you think? If I had to take a guess, I would say it's that it promotes equality, which is the argument he is making.
Shouldn't be collecting money off of people that do. That's fundamentally what your belief is. And that's not even like this is what Marxists believe. This is what you believe.
Wait, hold on.
Collecting money off workers, about getting rid of or eliminating the profit, or at the very least, redirecting the profit to workers. You want to destroy private ownership because owners that don't work shouldn't be collecting money off of people that do. That's.
Do you disagree with that, Destiny? Do you think that owners who don't work should be profiting instead of the people that are working and doing the thing? Do you find that to be a troublesome take?
Fundamentally what your belief is. And that's not even like this is what Marxists believe. This is what you believe. You said this on stream.
I just want to make clear, this is Destiny trying to make Marxism look bad. He's saying if you listen to these fucking Marxists with their propaganda, they'll have you taking all of the profit away from the people that don't do anything and giving it to the people that do everything. Is that what you want?
His idea of socialism is what Republicans called socialism in 2005. Socialism is when you pay your taxes.
Socialism is just when government does more stuff. Not at all when we execute you. Keep in mind, this guy's channel is
Nobody's ever been executed in a capitalist country. Ever. Never happened.
literally dedicated to teaching people how to become landlords and to become millionaires. He actively teaches people to become the things Hassan hates and advocates for the death of those people.
Yeah, it's probably why his son went on the podcast to argue his point. It's literally titled "Confronting Hassan on Socialist Grift, Hypocrisy, and How the Top 1% Keeps You Poor." It is literally a debate. The purpose of a debate is to go to where people who disagree with you. You mentioned that you watch a lot of debate content on YouTube, so I kind of assumed you'd know this. But one cannot have a debate on a subject that they agree on. You need to go to people with whom you have a significant disagreement in order to have a debate.
Yet he's perfectly fine sitting down having a cup of coffee with these people, as long as it means getting the good message out there. Because again, these aren't men of principles.
These fucking socialists are out there trying to express their ideas. They just dehumanize everyone that they don't agree with, and they won't sit down and have a conversation. And you can tell that because look at this phony socialist going and having a conversation with these people he doesn't agree with. What a phony.
You call it selling out your principles. I call it fucking winning. And that's my principle. To win as a socialist, not to lose as a socialist. That's not my principle. I don't give a about principled failure. Principled failure is worth dog shit.
These people don't care about truth. They want power. They only care about winning in their own words. And being a man of principles means you gotta tell the truth at least, right? But that only holds you back because these people, they're not honest with you about what they believe.
Could it be that they are, in fact, being honest with you, but they're saying something that you think is untrue because they believe it.
Have to advocate for a much lighter form of propaganda. You want America, in the way that I feel about it, and if you want America to get out of the way for places with more revolutionary potential to do what they would normally do, I think that one thing you have to do is advocate for a lighter form, while simultaneously still doing agitated propaganda that goes beyond.
Jesus Christ! Like, the spooky music is sending me. Like, nothing that this man is saying is like at all sinister. You're just playing spooky music and expecting that to make your argument for you. It's like when Hassan says agitprop, that's a term that originated in the Soviet Union. Yeah, he's a communist, so he's saying communist stuff. That's not like a trickery. It's you tailor your rhetoric to your audience. This isn't being dishonest. This is saying that, like, you advocate for the things you think you can change in the short term while having a long-term project. This is just basic problem solving. This is just how, like, one approaches doing anything.
Social democratic idea.
That's what these leftists are taught to do. That's what they actively do. They don't reveal fully what they believe. No, we gotta water it down first. Make it easier for people to digest. We water.
I can promise you, not a single leftist can shut up about what they believe. If it were possible to have any sort of, the idea that any leftist anywhere on earth could for even a second shut up about what they believe is such a laughable fantasy. We are so in your face about what we believe. We will never shut up about what we believe. I can promise you this.
Down the information so that they can be set on the right path of radicalization, which should be really concerning for you, even if you're a centrist. Because if this is the watered down message where they think it's better for you to be rich and they don't care when you die, what do they really believe? I mean, this is what...
Who is the you in this scenario? Who is the you? Who are they trying to convert?
They're totally fine openly admitting and showing to people. They have no problem with this. This is not the most radical part of their message. It's not just, haha, it'd be funny if you die. It's they want you dead. They're actively working towards that goal. Look at what they're doing. They're proactively taking steps to make their own audiences not communicate with people who disagree with them.
I think it really depends on what the disagreement is about, because this meme, the people that John Brown would have shot are slave owners. And do you think we should sit down and have a healthy debate with slave owners? Do you think that we should be hashing that out? It's just a difference of opinion. I think I can own people. Well, what are your starting axioms, sir? Well, like, let's hash this out.
They're supposed to be rude, disrespectful, simply call you a Nazi and an evil person, and call...
The criminals don't deserve due process. Trans ideology must be eradicated. Women are subservient and inferior to men. The white race must be preserved. Those are just my opinions. Feel free to disagree, but please be polite about it. Like, yeah, like, do you understand the meme that you're putting here? That they're making fun of people like you that position saying the most horrific shit and just saying it politely as though that makes it not a threat.
All the day. We can't talk to these evil subhumans because at the end of the day, this is the language designed to dehumanize you.
They're trying to make us look scary because they're indoctrinated monster terrorists that want to kill you. That's why they try to make us look scary.
You're no longer a person who simply has different views or opinions on what's best for the world. No, you just are evil and you hate people. No longer do you simply believe that, hey, I think abortion is murder. I value the life of a child. No, it's you hate women. That's what these people unironically...
I don't think that necessarily being pro-life means that someone hates women. However, the effect of being pro-life is hateful to women. The things which result from pro-life policy hurt and kill women. So it doesn't really matter to me whether or not you wake up in the morning and say to yourself, I hate women and I set out to do what is worse for them. This shouldn't be that difficult to understand.
Believe. If you think that transitioning children is wrong, you want trans kids to die. If you're against
Yes, literally, that is what that means. It means you are willing to accept that a certain portion of those children will kill themselves as a direct result of you withholding that care. Yes, that is what that means. You don't get to say, I simply believe this, but I believe in a version of it that doesn't have any of the material effects we would see in the real world. Like if you say, it is more important to me that children are withheld this care than that they live, then yes, then there is no other inference to be made there.
welfare and you think that's wasteful spending, and there are better ways to help the homeless. No, you just hate the homeless and you want them to suffer. That is what these radical...
I don't believe that people who are against welfare want homeless people to suffer. However, the effect of cutting welfare causes homeless people to suffer. That is the issue. It really does not matter to me whether you actually want that or not. It's what would happen if you got your way. That is the operative difference.
Leftists unironically believe about the right, verbatim. It's because they're not even just left-wing. Because a left-wing person, maybe they have the ability to interact and talk to people on the right. Hey, they understand that we don't agree, but we both want what's best for the world. Not a radical leftist, though. No, they don't talk to you because their own audience decided to isolate you from them. They want them to hate you, because if they hate you, it's going to be a lot easier to lead a revolution where they execute you. They make it a point to sympathize and empathize with criminals, rapists, murderers more than you. Which side is in favor of the death penalty? Not the left.
You're a Christian, my dude. You literally said you were a Christian and you're in favor of the death penalty. And by the way, if we're on the subject of like which group of people supports rapists and pedophiles, is it the Democrats or the Republicans? I believe it's both, but you would say it is the Democrats. Which one is currently led by a pedophile rapist? Which of these parties? Please write your answer in the form of a haiku.
They think that murderers, they're simply disturbed or unwell human beings. No, people who actually murder, they're not evil. We gotta help them. We must advocate for rehabilitation for these people. Unless you say the N-word. No, if you say the N-word, you're actually just a horrible, evil person, and there's no possible reason for it other than you're just evil. For the...
Oh, I don't think, so we're not allowed to think people are horrible for the things they do? Unless it rises to murder. You cannot judge anyone for anything. Maybe she had a really good reason for saying the N-word. Did you ever consider that, leftists? That maybe when she called a toddler the F word, she had a good reason for it? You were so quick to judgment.
We gotta extend sympathy and empathy.
Look at this. Look at this. These fucking people, they're extending sympathy and empathy to pedophiles by defining what one is. Now there's a word that we can use for this conversation. No. How dare you?
For the racist, none is given. No, when it comes to Shiloh, because she said the N-word, they justify doing horrible, evil things to her. If you say the N-word, it is good to dox you, to steal your social security number, to swat you, to harass you, to try and ruin your life, to try and get you fired from your job so that you can't feed your children, because she's racist. Just like all white people are racist, according to them. Because remember, being killed is a good thing in these people's eyes.
Like, so which is it then? Do you think that bad actions should result in consequences or not? Because your opinion on a murderer is that they should get the death penalty. And I'm also against murder. I'm against the death penalty. I actually see it as a form of murder. But I will grant you, I'm not a big fan of murderers. Never have been. Don't like those guys. Let's do something about them. Sure, we're on the same page there. See, we're finding common ground. I also think that, yeah, screaming the N-word at a toddler, you should receive consequences for that. Now, do I think this woman should get doxxed? Probably not. Do I feel sorry for her? Not really. She put up a GoFundMe and very much wanted to stay in the public eye as a result of saying the N-word because she correctly calculated that dipshits like you would give her a bunch of money. So, yeah, any negative attention she got as a result is clearly what she wanted. Like,
That's what they believe. If there was a situation where a woman, she was being murdered by a man, and that woman just so happened to call him the N-word right before she died, people would say she deserved it. And
what if someone held a gun to your head and made you say the N-word? What if that happened? Did you ever consider, what if someone held a gun to your head and said, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill your whole family unless you say the N-word? Did you ever think of that, leftists? Did you ever think of that? Aha!
in fact, people would be happy it happened to her. That's how these people's...
That's the left, man. Yeah, under any circumstances, if someone were to say the N-word, even if they're just like an actor in a movie saying it, I think, yeah, absolutely. Anything you do to them now is fine. For sure. They have become an outlaw. They are no longer protected by the rule of law, and they're thrown to the woods, and you may do with them as you please. This is what the left believes.
Moral compasses operate. Look at these videos. Keep in mind, she literally just said the N-word, and this is what they have to say for her.
She screamed it multiple times at a toddler. But that being said, just saying it is still pretty bad, dude. It's a bad thing to do.
My mama would have went to that house, knocked on her door, dragged her by that skinny little blonde ponytail, and turned her every which way but loose. And then she'd be like, go get my bail money. I feel like it is time for us to start turning the other cheek. And I mean their cheek, not our cheek, okay? I think it's time for us to start showing them who the fuck we are.
And the fact that you did that when that little boy's parents were not around, they were not present. What kind of person are you behind closed doors? Like, I'm fearful of your children, and I hope...
No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. She's saying you're being abusive to a child, and it is therefore reasonable to assume you might be abusive to your own child behind closed doors. That does not imply that she is calling CPS on this woman merely for uttering the forbidden word.
That they get removed from your care?
That lady, Shiloh Hendricks, whatever the name is, people like her, they deserve a bullet. They really do.
Ooh, the way I would have rearranged that bitch's face if I was in front of her. But I hope and pray that they find your location. And I hope they dog walk your stupid ass. And when you good and going, I hope somebody finds your grave and piss on that shit.
Again, these people think that if you say one word, you deserve to be raped and murdered.
Any word at all. If you say any word in the English language, you should be killed. Yes. And you can tell those people are all leftists because, well, you know, you get it, right?
When it happens to you, they will be happy and gleeful. They hate you. And look, this is negative information, really negative topic for this video. But I'm only saying this because I truly believe that this is the case. I'm never this strong or stern with what I say. And the only reason why I'm saying it right now is it's because it's the truth, and you need to hear this. These people are trying to polarize their audiences so that they hate you more, and they're more willing to do evil things against you. Because again, when they call you an evil monster that doesn't deserve courtesy or respect, it's not to change your mind, it's to isolate their own audience and to radicalize their own side.
Okay, so like, but aren't you in this video saying that they have no actual reason for doing these things? They're doing them to coalesce power so that they can kill all the people they don't like. Isn't that the exact same thing? Isn't that the exact same thing that you are arguing these hypothetical other leftists are doing because they got mad when they saw the N-word being spoken to a toddler? How is that any different? I recognize that I am like, I'm arguing with an infant here, but like, You're literally doing it. You're literally doing the thing you claim we're doing.
Which is really ironic if you think about it. This is the side of quote-unquote democracy. But the reason why they want to isolate their own audience and to radicalize them is because they are genuinely fearful that if they heard the other side, they would be convinced and leave them.
Like canceling these people.
Has anyone here been convinced? Has even one person here been convinced? I've let you hear what he had to say. I've offered my counter arguments. Have any of you been convinced? I'm very scared of this.
People or preventing them from showing up and pushing their message when most people don't have the ability to like push back. I think that does more good than it does harm. Nobody knows how to handle that.
Yeah, but
and
shouldn't
I wish they did.
Then we should do that,
I
right?
feel like that's very idealized.
But yeah, but
Versus-
that's what we're at college. It's a place for ideals, right? Don't
But
you all
like-
have
but like-
dreams? And
but
you
like-
guys aren't old enough to have your hopes and dreams crushed yet. You should still be idealistic, right?
Used to be the opposite. I used to feel like, oh yeah, we should have every idea, bad or good, on the marketplace, and then people should debate it. And bad ideas will fall to the bottom, good ideas will come to the top. But instead, we had like 4 years of like half the population of America
and that's
parroting what Trump said on Twitter.
If they're
Okay, so like every idea should be debated. Every idea should be we shouldn't disallow a single idea. Like if I said I'd like to hold an open forum on whether or not I get to kill Dave. Dave, I don't like him. I think he's a rascal and a fool, and I wish to kill him, and I think I should be allowed to. And I'm not saying I'm gonna, but I just want to have the debate. I just feel like we should all get together and debate this. Should that conversation be allowed to proceed? Should it be given a public forum? So that the best minds can get together and then debate whether or not to kill Dave? Is there any limit to where a conversation moves from a respectful dialogue to a threat?
Own audience could think for themselves. If their own audience was genuinely exposed to the other side, they wouldn't be a radical leftist. They fear.
Who here? I've exposed you to the other side. Is anyone here no longer a radical leftist? I assume you came into the stream a radical leftist, and now having been exposed, oh, we lost Menace D. We did lose Menace D. Shit, and Pearly Whirly. Fuck. Oh, I shouldn't have exposed all of you to this guy's ideas. Now I'm never gonna get my revolution where I get to decapitate all the people who were mean to me in high school. Ah, fuck.
This. They don't trust honest discourse. If you could actually have an honest conversation with a Nazi, as they say it, they genuinely fear you would become one of them. It's very funny. They're not in favor of having a democracy.
No. I don't fear that anyone would be convinced by the Nazis. I do fear that allowing their rhetoric to be normalized increases the likelihood that they get to act on their murderous ideology. When they get together and they say, hey, let's kill all the outgroup, no matter whether they get people to agree with that position or not, the more that is expressed, regardless of how convincing it is, the more it normalizes that position and makes that position more likely to come to fruition. It has nothing to do with what I think is convincing, because there is no logical argument for Nazism
that is actually informed on what the other side thinks. No. We must have a democracy that is controlled with isolated followers who are radicalized and only know to hate the people that they disagree with. Democracy where you only know one thing. Democracy where you can't hear the other side out. Democracy where you only know to hate. I mean, look at the Ethan Klein situation. Ethan Klein is your standard lefty. He engages in all of the left-wing talking points, but
simply because he supports a genocidal regime, simply because he's in favor of genocide and tries to sue people who point that out, the left turned on him. Sometimes I feel like the left values Palestinian lives above its own principles, above solidarity.
He only disagrees slightly with the
Only
Israel-Palestine
slightly.
situation. He doesn't
Only
even
slightly.
deny 90% of their talking points when it comes to Palestine. Yet they still hate them. They hate them so much that they literally...
Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. You can agree with me on 99.99 repeating percent of things. If one of those things is a certain group of people don't get to live, a certain group of people, by virtue of who they are, where they were born, don't get to live, it really doesn't matter like how much you agree with me on other stuff. You're not welcome, right?
called Child Protective Services on him. The same guy that says that Steven Crowder is a right-wing extremist. That's
Steven Crowder is a right-wing extremist. He literally...
That's how left-wing he is. Yet they still hate his guts. They hate him and his family. They want the worst for him. If his family got raped and murdered, they would be happy. And they make that clear with their words and their actions.
I don't think that is true. I simply don't think that is the case. What? I just let me state this for the record. I didn't think I would have to make this point, but I would not be glad if Ethan Klein's family were raped and murdered. I would in fact be quite troubled by that. I would find that to be a very distasteful, very undesirable state of affairs, in fact.
And if they want to do that with Ethan Klein, who's practically identical to them, what does that say about you if you're
Which you have demonstrated how?
Even a centrist? In most revolutions and purges, even the people who are the strongest advocates of that movement tend to fall to the guillotine themselves.
The strongest advocate for the leftist cause, Ethan Klein, and we turned on him simply because he made the piddling, trivial mistake that could happen to anyone of supporting an ethno-state during a campaign of active genocide. And if that was enough to get us to turn on him, who knows who's next?
Because after all, if anybody disagrees with them, they're fascist. And fascists are evil Nazis. And
well, like, if what you disagree with me about is like whether or not you are the master race, right? For example, that would be a situation where disagreeing with me actually does make you a fascist. My point of view is that nobody is the master race, whereas Hitler, a fascist, would say that his point of view is that actually Hitler's point of view was that they were going to construct a master race. But nonetheless, there are positions which one can take which does in fact make you a fascist for agreeing with them.
We don't respect or show common courtesy to Nazis. We don't even talk to them. Which
Should
means
we?
Not only will they remain silent when violence happens against you. No. They're going to enjoy it. That's what they're looking forward to. So at this point, if they call you a sexist, homophobe, racist, whatever, who cares? They're going to anyways. They don't want to engage in logic and reason because they're afraid of it. That's why they isolate their followers. That's why they're polarizing people. They're fearful of real conversations. Yet I want to...
Well, maybe that is part of a real conversation. Like this is an expectation the right seems to have that I don't really get, which is that we're meant to have a debate, right? We're meant to have a conversation, but we're not allowed to articulate what it is about their position we disagree with, because that's simply calling them a name, right? If I think that your argument is sexist, then that is the thing at issue. That is the thing being debated. It's not an attempt to shut down the discussion. It is literally how the discussion is had. How am I meant to argue against an idea on the grounds that it is sexist without calling it so?
Make this clear. The point of this video is not to make you feel the exact same way towards them. Don't fall into the exact same trap. This video is not created with the purpose to isolate people, to polarize them, to kill conversations. No, I think those things are really important. And we need to call this out for what it is. That's what you need to do. Call out what they're doing. They're radicalizing their own audiences, and this is how they're doing it. You need to understand this. I don't think there's anything wrong with seeking or gaining political power. That's what we should do, but I don't think think you should do it through dishonest means. There's absolutely nothing wrong with voting in the laws and principles that you hold into this country, especially as a Christian. They hate you, and they view
Especially
you
as
as
a
this cartoonish
Christian.
villain. Don't fall down that same path yourself.
I don't think, and I can't speak for all Christians, but I don't feel like they typically are such shitheads. Some of them are, for sure. Sure. There are definitely Christians who are shitheads. Cannot deny that. But I don't think the majority of them are. Whew. Wow. Wowzers. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed because that taught me almost nothing about how to dehumanize the right. I was looking for some information about how I might get better at dehumanizing the right, and I feel like I've learned nothing. That one was more fun than Matt Walsh. I assume you mean Matt Walsh, honestly. Yes, certainly, because this is just some dipshit, right? Like, this is just some, like, at the end of the day, this is just some ignorant dipshit making a video. He's not, well, in this case, he has reached 700,000 people. But he's just, he's just yapping. Whereas Matt Walsh, like, and even then, I think it's not quite as egregious as Matt Walsh's distortions of the facts. Oh boy. What else has this guy got to say? I'm intrigued by all of his opinions. He's saying leftists are using stochastic terrorism as opposed to Fox News, Rush Limbaugh, 4chan, and all of AM radio in the US. Like, even in the beginning of the video, he described a very basic scenario that, like, happens every day where the right is literally saying, you're all demons. You're controlled by demons. That is just a thing that happens. That is a thing they say. It's like, to pose this as a left-wing problem is just not honest. Why left-wing midwits use cartoons as arguments. Bro, did you see the video? How to spot grifters? I would like to know. Why Reddit leftists are obsessed with making everything gay. Is social shame good? No. We shouldn't shame people if they yell the N-word at toddlers. Social shame is obviously bad when it happens to people on his side of the aisle. I do want to know why Reddit leftists are obsessed with making everything gay. So let's find that. I've often asked this myself. Why are they obsessed with that? As I've observed that happening.
Why is it that the left loves to claim characters to be gay, to be trans, to be anti-ICE, or to be left-wing in general? Didn't you know, chuds? This character's actually gay because
yeah, let me answer that question for you. It's because those people are those things and they want to feel represented in the media they see. That's why. It's the same reason that a bunch of dickhead right-wingers slap Punisher logos on everything, even though the Punisher disagrees with them on pretty much everything. Aside from killing criminals, which you seem to have in common. Punisher hates cops. Cops love to put the Punisher logo on their shit.
I said so. Fellas, I need to address the elephant in the room. A while ago, I made a video talking about this exact same subject. So why the heck am I talking about it again?
Is that the same subject? Is that the same subject? Doesn't feel like it is.
Well, it is because I was wrong, and the truth is far more fascinating than I initially thought it was. Nothing that's happening here is new whatsoever, and it's certainly...
The left is claiming that these characters are gay, and as evidence of this, I will show an instance of this character holding a pride flag, because the left made him do that. The left wrote... the left made Superman. They're just pretending that Superman is gay, and that manifested in it happening in the comic book somehow.
Not mutually exclusive to people on the left, but it's been happening for thousands of years. I realized all of this from a single Twitter post. The post read, I already saw homophobic/transphobic Venerator players, and all I gotta say is we are claiming him for us. He belongs to us gay people now. He's gay, he has an ex-boyfriend, and visits gay bars. F you. Deadlock is not for the bigots. And this puzzled me at first, like, what do you mean by that? You can't just claim something's yours and...
It's a joke. They're making a joke. It's a joke.
Wait a minute. It's actually true. You can claim characters as your own. Not only that, but it extends to so much more. Symbols and words itself. And everybody's been doing this for such a long time. Ultimately, in the end, you realize one thing. Truth doesn't matter. What matters is power. Let me explain.
What? I'm sorry, what? Ghost Dunk, thank you for the subscription.
The year is 723, and Germany at the time is full of Germanic pagans. These pagans had a sacred tree known as Donner's Oak, or Thor's Oak. Many of the Germanic pagans would worship at this site, doing rituals and sacrifices in honor of Thor, which the Christians didn't take a liking to. And as a result, St. Boniface took up an axe and cut down Thor's Oak to show the powerlessness of the Germanic gods and to demonstrate the power of Christianity. And it goes even further as legend.
This is a video about why people on Reddit say video game characters are gay. Just so we're clear, this is a video about why Sonic the Hedgehog is gay. Just so we're on the same page.
Legend says in its place, a fir tree grew and later became a symbol of the Christmas tree. So let's recap. What exactly happened here? Through sheer force and power, the Christians took a pagan symbol and transformed it into a Christian symbol. Because again, we have to remind ourselves, truth doesn't really matter. It's about...
Have you just discovered the concept of storytelling? Is that what's happening here?
Power. Ask yourself, is the legend actually true that a fir tree grew in its place, and then that later became the Christian symbol of the Christmas tree? Probably.
No, because the Christmas tree is an adaptation of the Yule tree, not whatever the fuck you're talking about. Hold on, we got a troll in chat. I don't want you to get exposed to his right-wing ideas, so I gotta ban him.
Probably not. But it doesn't change the fact that the fir tree is widely accepted as a Christian symbol, and the destruction of Thor's Oak did inspire it. People believe it and see it as such. It is now a Christian symbol. The origins of the tree and the truth, it really doesn't.
Am I off base here? Is the Christmas tree not based on the Yule tree? Isn't that a thing? Didn't pagans like decorate their trees to celebrate Yule? Am I off base here?
Matter. It's a secondary concern here. Quick disclaimer, I'm not giving a prescription on what we ought to do, but I'm simply giving a description of what I see. Now let's go back to this tweet. Venerator is gay. He has an ex-boyfriend and visits gay bars. Is this true? Absolutely not. But it doesn't...
Yeah, it's a fictional character. It's a fictional character. They're making a joke. They're making a joke. What are you doing? This is a person making a joke.
Matter at the end of the day. What matters is if people widely accept it to be true and view him in that light. That's...
No, they don't think it's true. It's not a real man. Not a real man. He can't have real sex. You can't suck a real dick. It's a joke. They're making a joke. It's the same way that like if I say that Hatsune Miku coded Minecraft, if enough people believe it, it doesn't make it the truth. It's a joke.
It's all that matters. Nothing else. Let me give you another example.
Please, please.
The inverted cross. Culturally in America, it is a satanic symbol, it is a death metal symbol, and it is used to represent rebellion. They took the symbol of the cross, which symbolized Christianity, and turned it upside down as a symbol to rebel against Christianity. Makes logical sense. It's seen that way in spite of the fact that the inverted cross is historically speaking a Christian symbol. It's the cross of St. Peter.
But it's also a very simple thing that it's not like Satanists took the cross of St. Peter and said, we're going to co-opt this. They operated from the logic you just gave, and it was parallel thinking. They didn't deliberately set out to replace the image of the St. Peter's cross. They arrived at an inverted cross from the logic you just gave.
Already existed as a Christian symbol, so how could this happen? The cross of St. Peter is much more widely recognized by Catholics and the Orthodox. America, however...
See, like, in the same way that, like, if I, in my head, wanted to talk about someone being stubborn, and I invented, like, the idea of a goat-headed guy, and it looked like Baphomet, that wouldn't mean that I was trying to co-opt the Satanist symbol in order to replace it with my grumpy ideology. It's merely a coincidence.
Is primarily dominated by Protestantism, which is for the most part oblivious to the cross of St. Peter. Therefore, when Satanists took the Christian symbol and inverted it upside down as a sign of disrespect and rebellion, it worked. Because of people's ignorance of the cross of St. Peter, it was accepted and converted into a satanic symbol of rebellion and opposition. Because again,
do you think, right, that if people were aware of the cross of St. Peter, if people in America were more generally aware, that would therefore make this symbol mean something different? That, like, the only reason they were able to sneak in this disrespect towards Christianity is because people didn't have this knowledge of this other meaning for the symbol?
Again, what matters at the end of the day isn't the facts, isn't the origins of a symbol. It is just what people believe to be true. The same.
But a symbol can evolve more than once.
Way with the tweet, it doesn't matter if the character is actually gay or goes to gay bars. No, none of that matters. It's about the power and influence, the presence they have in the fandom. And this is something that the left is very conscious of. This is something that they're...
The left is trying to force this fandom for this video game man to be gay by co-opting the symbol of this big strong man and his beard and making it gay. When he's not, he's a big strong man with big arms that will hold me and I'd be safe, and there's nothing gay about it.
Always focusing on the idea that if just enough people believe something is true, then it becomes reality. For example, the Bladensburg Cross Memorial. Atheists petitioned and tried to get that cross removed on the grounds that there is separation between church and state. This is a public memorial that has a Christian symbol. They wanted to get rid of that. However, to nobody's shock, it failed. They essentially got to...
That has nothing to do with your point, though. Like, how does that at all intersect with your point?
Told to go f themselves. So as a result, the Satanic Temple was pretty upset, which, keep in mind, is an atheistic organization. In response to this, they decided to meet up to do an atheistic ritual, where they would claim the cross as a symbol of Satan.
This guy simply does not understand the concept of a joke. This guy just does not understand the concept of making fun of things. This is wild. They're clearly making a joke. Do you think that you just said they're atheists? Do you think that they're like trying to do something magic? They're doing like atheist magic? Is that your concern?
How? How do they do this? On what authority do they have to change an already existing symbol? They operate under the principle, and there's quite a bit of truth to it, that something just becomes true if it's widely accepted enough, especially since they don't believe that objective truth or objective reality actually exists.
There is no objective reality about a fictional character. A fictional character is fictional. Objectively, there's no reality there. If we're looking at it objectively, it's made up. It's a lie. It's fake. There's no video game man is neither gay nor straight. He is pixels. He is polygons.
Truth can be whatever you want it to be. But once again, it failed because they don't have that much power.
Literally, yes. For fiction, truth within fiction can literally be whatever you want it to be. That is what the word means.
Or influence in the world. But it's important to pay attention to this and to understand it, because literally half of leftist politics these days is just an attempt to gaslight people into believing something is true when they know it is objectively false. Do these Satanists actually believe there's any sort of ritual happening, or that any of these characters are gay?
My man, it's a joke. They're making a joke. It's like I made a joke in a video once where I said that every character in fiction is, in my view, canonically trans unless demonstrated that they can, unless you can demonstrate otherwise. And even then, sometimes I still think they're trans. And the example I gave is that George Jetson is a trans man. And this person is essentially taking that joke and putting it forward as the official position of the left. Like, it's just wild.
No, but if enough people believe it's true, according to them, it then becomes quote-unquote true.
I don't think Odin would be on your side vis-a-vis trans rights, my man. You might want to look into some of those Norse myths if you think that they had a very strict binary concept of gender.
Another example is there are plenty of characters that are completely heterosexual, yet they're associated with homosexuality all the time.
I'm sorry. You cannot say that. How do you know that Bakugo is heterosexual? How do you know that? He has no canonical love interest, as far as I'm aware, in the series. His main relationship is with another man who he seems to be obsessed with in a way that he can't quite reconcile. It's like, maybe there's actually something going on there.
Because they constantly get shipped together. They're seen as gay, despite not actually being gay. Did the author...
Do you think, though, that it isn't that people are trying to will that into reality, but just that they like the idea, so they make drawings about it? They think it's cute, so they make drawings and write fan fictions.
Decide that these characters are gay? No, the fandom did. If you have a large enough LGBT presence in a community, in a fandom, you can unofficially make characters associated with homosexuality. This can happen because the intentions of the creator are completely irrelevant.
Yeah, but and the question I would pose to this is, who gives a fuck? Who fucking cares? What does it matter? Like, what is the alternative? Should every discussion that doesn't align one-to-one with what the creator intended for work be shut down, and we can no longer discuss our opinions on cartoons? We simply explain what happened in the episode, and then no more discussion is required. Only that was intended by the creator.
But the left is not the only one who can do this. What do you think of this? Hayasaka from Love is War. What do you think of when you see this character? Tell me. What is it that you actually see? If you...
It's a cartoon girl? What am I meant to see? Is it because she has blonde hair and blue eyes? Is that where he's going with this?
Spend enough time on Twitter, you know exactly who you're thinking of. You're thinking, of course, Kaguya's Top Gal. That is a great example of people on the right taking symbols, characters, and associating them with ideas or ideologies on the right.
What does that mean? What? What am I meant? Who is this? How does some jack off on Twitter using this anime girl as his avatar. What?
Creator of the show intend for her to be used this way? Hell no. But it doesn't matter. Do you know why? Because with symbols, consent doesn't exist. It's all about the war power, you say. Nothing else.
I'm just gonna give it a moment because I've left my body. I'm not in my body, and I'm somewhere on the astral plane right now. I've cringed out of my physical body, and I'm gone. I'm away.
This is what we like best!
That's just how the world works. But it gets even more interesting because we've covered characters, we've covered symbols, but it's also true for words. For example, the word gay. Gay has been shifting in its meaning for the past couple of hundred years. It's actually very fascinating. Gay up until the 1600s actually meant lighthearted, carefree, bright, happy, and interestingly enough, impulsive. Then after the 1600s, it then got a sexual connotation to it. But it's always been shifting in its meaning.
Excellent research. Excellent research done here. After the 1600s, gay became sexual at some point.
Meaning, it's actually a very unstable word because sometimes it would be used instead of a pejorative, but then as times and attitudes shift, it then becomes a pejorative. Like, for example, the word homeless. Homeless is now an...
No, the term gay was a pejorative that was then reclaimed by the group it was a pejorative for. For someone who is so obsessed with slurs, you'd think he would know a bit more about them.
But it was originally a word used to replace what we called bums. Bums had a negative connotation. People attempted to change that negative stigma by replacing the word bum with homeless.
No, I think people were called homeless even then. I don't think that's right.
But you can't simply manipulate language willy-nilly however you decide with an agenda behind it and be successful. That's just not how the world works. Because over time, that word in itself will become stigmatized. That word in itself will become a pejorative, even if it was meant to become something positive.
Do you think that words are alive and they make decisions? What? How? What? So, as examples of how you can't change the meaning of a word, here are some words that used to mean something and now mean something else. Ergo, the concept of changing what a word means is impossible. Walk me through this.
But as people's attitudes and minds constantly shift back and forth, because it is a pendulum, so do the meanings of these words. So do the positive and negative connotations of those words. Because again, truth and original meaning have no place here. It doesn't matter. Now you might be asking,
what is the true meaning of the word gay? Is it the one that the word was conceived for? The idea that the first person who ever uttered the word gay, what they meant when they said gay? Or is it what people use the word to mean? How does one differentiate between when a word is used truly and when it is used falsely?
from all of this, what is the point of this video? What does
good question
changing a character, a symbol, a word do in real world politics? And
nothing, because it's a bit, it's a goof, it's spoof and goof. It's people saying I am this, and so the things I like, I'm bringing that to this. Like if I were to say Spider-Man is trans, that doesn't make it so. It's because I am, and I like Spider-Man. That's what it is.
Thought about that for quite a while, and then I realized that's a very backwards way of looking at it. And feel free to correct me if you believe I'm wrong here, but I think that all of this is simply a symptom, a result of the powers that be. A community claiming a symbol or a character doesn't win any sort of culture war. It is simply a result of a group of people, of a dominant ideology, claiming something as their own. It is a symptom of political change and the effect of political powers, but not the changing force itself. Let me explain.
It's literally any change to people's attitudes that is counter to what you believe can only be explained by the powers that be. It couldn't be that people simply disagree with you now for reasons that have nothing to do with what powerful people want them to think. That no one thinks for themselves. It's just whatever the hive mind demands of them.
Asayaka from Love is War being associated with the right on Twitter influence politics in any sort of way? No, because people's perception of this character is a direct result from this person's success on Twitter. It could have been done with any other character if they so decided. Therefore,
like a good example that he could have used here would be Pepe the Frog. Pepe the Frog was a cartoon character that was created to be like a silly little guy and then became a symbol of the alt-right. And then, for that matter, then had another full circle moment where it became a neutral symbol. That would have illustrated his point so much more clearly than whatever he's talking about with this anime girl. I don't know who this account is. I don't know who this girl in this anime is. I don't know what it is meant to represent. And he didn't explain it.
do not make the mistake of confusing the symptoms of power, the results of power, with power itself. Are there any real-world effects that come from this? And I would have to say, 1, it acts as a morale booster. It is to tell your own side, hey, we claimed this character, this symbol, this word, it is our own now. It doesn't matter what it originally meant, it is ours now, because we made.
But it doesn't matter what it originally. What does it matter whether or not the video game man is gay? Does that matter? Are you saying it does matter? And we
made it so. We took this thing because we are that powerful.
But you can't actually do that, is the thing. No one is expressing power here. They're just making a drawing. What?
Acts as a morale booster. And the second thing is, it acts as a way to measure and to see how powerful or influential a side has become. An ideology, a group of people, or even a person. It is a way of measuring and seeing.
Or perhaps it is an expression of support for the things that you believe, which is not insidious. People, these fucking leftists, keep saying leftist stuff, which they're only doing because they want to change reality with the magical power of symbols.
How much influence they have. Going back to the original tweet, if they were able to claim Venerator as a gay person, that would reflect a very strong LGBT presence in that.
Only if they can take this. We won't know whether people support LGBT issues or not unless random Twitter users can convince you that this video game man is gay. Only by doing that can we make the case that anyone supports those queers. That's the only way to do it. It just makes sense if you think about it.
Community in that game. You could say that the fandom is gay. It is essentially, at the end of the day, ideological conquest. You are planting your flag in the moon, or in a community, or in a fandom, and marking your territory. It is what the Satanic Temple tried to do with the Memorial Cross, but they failed because they...
So then what does it matter? Then who cares? Do you think, like, what...
don't have that much power in the real world. Nobody sees that as a satanic symbol. All of this is what we can gather from this information. This is what I've learned. Let me know what you think. But that's it for this video. Thank you so much to everybody who's been supporting me on Patreon.
There's some cartoon people here. They're changing what the cartoons mean. Pretty sure I've drawn this for a patron. This person is an anime girl. Looks like she's wearing a Nazi uniform, but that's okay because they're changing what the symbol means. Now it means whatever they wanted, and that's the power of symbols.
I'm working on getting that bonus content for you on the Patreon, but I'm struggling to find an editor for the Patreon because I don't have enough time to make...
This person's got a Stone Toss avatar, but that's okay because they're changing what the symbol is. And you might think that Stone Toss is a genuine Nazi who makes neo-Nazi cartoons, but it's okay because now you'll associate it with whatever this guy likes. So they've taken that symbol too. And the letter L, they used to be the first letter in LGBTQ, but now it means Levko. You've taken that symbol. and this person is named Squirtle. Squirtle's now straight. It doesn't matter what Satoru Iwata wanted Squirtle's sexual orientation to be. Squirtle's straight now, and he's Christian. Squirtle has accepted Jesus Christ as his Lord and Savior.
These full-length YouTube videos and then Patreon content on the side, but I'm getting it for you. And as always, I hope you have a good one.
Thanks, man. Good stuff. Tell me, where am I to find the good right-wing arguments? Jesus, please us. So because the cartoon, they're putting chemicals in the water that are turning the cartoons gay, is what they're doing. This person, this video, I'm going to now, in good faith, attempt to sum up what I think were the points made in this video. That symbols can change meaning over time, no shit, and that people might use those symbols in an attempt to somehow display power and dominance by stealing the symbols of their enemy, and using them. And his examples of this are the video game man that they made him gay. Some guy on Twitter was like, actually, this video game man is gay. And so what he was doing there was attempting to get all of the Christians out of the community by making the character, the cartoon man, gay. And I simply don't agree that that's what they were doing. Because in the example that he used, he said that it was in response to people harassing them in bigoted ways while playing that character. And so he's saying, well, actually, joke's on you because now that character's gay. And it's a joke. It's a joke they were making. So I'm not super convinced. I don't know about y'all. Like, I recognize, it is like shooting fish in a barrel. But like, there's no substance to this. There's like, how do you dispute a point like this? Like, what is there to investigate? It just doesn't proceed from the premise that he has laid out. Just like, I have the effect of doing so. You might as well say that I am doing, but I'm not setting out to find the worst right-wing videos I can find. It's just like, this is what they're all like. This is what they're all like. Like, it's never like a video that has like even stuff taken out of, like, even like PragerU standard, like misuse of statistics or like some effort to convince you. It's merely asserting that reality is a certain way and never justifying that belief. Not even with a bad justification. Because, like, say what you will about the left, when the left makes a bad point, we at least make a point. If the left makes an argument that doesn't proceed from the evidence they gave or gives bad evidence, they do, in fact, attempt to substantiate their opinions. But this guy's like, well, you can see based on this Twitter, this guy has an anime girl avatar, and that's how you know that actually you can subvert symbols. This is what they're all like, and yet somehow they're shockingly effective. I don't think that they are. I think that it's just like it's not at all difficult to convince people of these things because their positions do not require justification. So, of course, you don't have to give them one. It's just like someone made this point in a previous Hogslop, but it isn't so much a reason to believe what they believe. It is permission to believe what they believe, is what they're actually looking for. Starting to think you might actually be expecting too much of them, honestly, Mildred. I'm literally not. I'm literally asking that they at least make an honest to God attempt to deceive me. I'm not even asking that they what they say is be true or well thought out or convincing, but merely that they make an attempt to convince. Like it couldn't be like. So the video format is like, can I have stupid? And the video is like, yeah, you can have stupid. That's pretty much it. We're watching slop for hogs. Like that's what we do here. But it's just like it continues to be shocking to me how anyone can say these words in this order and not feel embarrassed. How they will literally say shit like the whole diatribe about like the use of gay changing over time, and where he said like after the 1600s the word gay gained a sexual connotation. It's like, how do you say that? How do you write that sentence down and then read it into your microphone and feel good about what you've done and feel like that's close enough to what I believe? How do they have this power? Why aren't they embarrassed all the time? Very much feels like Christian speak. It's not an argument, it's a recitation of a liturgy. But no, see, because I find that when Christians want to make an apologetics, they are good at giving you something that on the surface seems to present a compelling case. But he's not even going that far. He's merely asserting something and not justifying it. Like, I'll give you an example, right? The idea of irreducible complexity. It's a bad argument, but it very much appears like a good argument on the surface. It's difficult to construct an argument against, which is all it really needs to do. When they say like, oh, the eye could not have evolved because each part of the eye is necessary for the eye to evolve, but no part of the eye makes sense outside the structure of the eye. That seems like it makes sense on a surface level if you don't look into the answer. And most people don't have the training in biology to be able to refute it. It requires some degree of investigation. It's still wrong. It's still not convincing. But like, you can see why someone who's inclined to believe it anyway could be fooled by it, could be convinced not to look further, Whereas this guy is like, the powers that be are trying to enforce their gay agenda. And my evidence for this is I saw a tweet where they said a video game man is gay. They said Wario's gay, and Wario's not gay. Wario's very straight. Wario is always fucking women. Okay? Don't say Wario's gay. Don't say that to me. Don't say Wario's bisexual. Don't say that to me. I don't like that. And that's evidence of a profound conspiracy at the heart of American culture to destroy Christianity. Okay, but I'm gay for Wario? Sure, of course. That's fine. But you can't say Wario's gay. Wario's a big, strong man, and he fucks women. Within the purview of marriage. Wario does not have premarital sex. Wario is saving himself to have Christly sex with his bride-to-be. This is just, and if you say otherwise, it's that's your agenda. No, everyone relax. I'm not saying I believe this. I'm merely I'm presenting this as to mock him. Obviously, I know that Wario is pansexual. Obviously, I know that. I'm a rational person. It's look at because fucking obviously every good fictional character is gay as hell. It's only the evil ones that are straight. I know that. I'm not stupid. Don't talk to me like I'm stupid. I'm saying that this guy would say that Wario is straight. And that's evidence of how twisted his ideology is. Evil ones are straight. Ganondorf is not heterosexual. I didn't say evil, I said bad. I don't think it was the intention of the creator of Wario that he has premarital sex. Is there a fully straight Zelda character? There is only Tinkle. I said what I said. Let me be clear. Every single character in The Legend of Zelda is triumphantly gay, except Tingle, who is straight as an arrow. And this time, I do believe that. I believe what I'm saying. You can quote me on that. Put it in the newspaper that I said that. Scrolled back 1 minute and 20 seconds. He did indeed say evil. Yeah, if you're gonna look into what I said, yeah. I might have said it. What does that matter? Oh, just because I said something, that means that the words came out of my mouth? I don't think so. And as long as we're on the subject of gay cartoon characters, can we talk about the creature that is often referred to erroneously as Birdo? You know that you're all dead naming Birdetta, right? You know that, right? If you look at the original instruction manual for Super Mario Brothers 2, it says that Birdo thinks that he is a girl and named Birdetta. And you've all been participating in this erasure. Did I just blow your mind? Who's my favorite gay cartoon character? It's Batman. We all owe Bardetta an apology. And can we just talk about Tingle again for a second? I just want to say that I'm aware that there's multiple characters by the name of Tingle in across various timelines. I know that. They're all straight as a whip. I too spit eggs from my mouth. That's what the left does when they can't make an argument. They simply spit eggs from their mouth at you. Because they expect that you're going to jump on the egg and get carried to the back of the stage. That's literally what they think. But is Tingle cis? I leave that for more capable minds than I to hash out. It's none of my concern. Somehow the meanest thing anyone's ever said about Tingle. Call it like I see it. Chuck Tingle is gay, if that helps. Mario is an anti-woke YouTuber, confirmed, constantly fighting off attacks from the left. Yeah, why do you think that fool is always sprinting to the right? Think about it. It's all that he does is run to the right. When someone tells you who they are, believe them. Is egg spitting not a valid argument? Why have I been doing it? It hurts so much. Don't feel bad. Because you've been brainwashed by woke academics into thinking that because someone disagrees with you, that means that they are fascist, which means that they're a Nazi, which means that you can spit eggs at them. Spit eggs at them until they hit you with the egg 3 times and then you turn into a crystal ball that they can use to walk through an eagle's mouth. Chuck Tingle was forced gay by his dinosaur boyfriend, it is known. Are you trying to imply that love isn't real? It seems like you're trying to imply love isn't real, and we know that it is. So that's actually really fucked up. Should I have been hard boiling the eggs? My eggs end up all yolky when they spatter. I don't know. I don't know. So sad to see that members of the proletariat, hardworking plumbers, facing mortal danger in an unsafe work environment and hitting themselves with blocks for pay. This is how you characterize the class traitor Super Mario, who is noted friends with the ruling monarch of the Mushroom Kingdom, Princess Peach Toadstool. Mario has betrayed the revolution. When the time comes, we will make no excuses for the terror we impose upon Mario. The blocks are also workers. That's true. It's a good point. Those are Mushroom Kingdom citizens that have been turned into blocks through Bowser's machinations. My dad wants me to set up a leech farm for him, but he thinks he can buy bags of blood to feed them. How do I direct him towards a smarter and cheaper idea? I'm not sure that you should direct him to a smarter and cheaper idea. If the idea in question is that he should feed the leech his blood, or your blood, or anyone, I let the man buy the bags of blood. I think, you know, some things are worth spending the money on. Invest in yourself. I don't know what kind of diseases one can contract. Leech-borne diseases one can contract, but it's probably not worth it. Sounds like you found the vampire in chat. There are no vampires in this chat. You know how I know? Because they were never invited in. Are you wearing makeup, dude? Yeah. What do you think? My face just looks like this? You have to ask if I'm wearing makeup? I'm also wearing a dress. You might be shocked to hear. That's a myth that's been thoroughly debunked. Revamps. Nice try. Nice try, Count Dracula. Nice try. Not going to trick me. This is not a safe space for vampires. Vampires are not to be trusted. We don't take chances with vamps. Not here. Vampire cops, the guys that enforce vampire law when vampires are literal and not metaphor. As not to be confused with cop vampires, who are cops that are vampires. A gay trans vampire can come in without being invited because they do have to be invited to come out. What? A gay trans vampire can come in without being invited because they do have to be invited to come out. No, they don't have to be invited to come out. There's a bunch of fucking Draculas and they're all playing flute. Tell me about it, dude. Draculas be playing flutes. I've gotten plenty of leeches stuck to me and never gotten a disease from them. I have gotten Giardia several times from accidentally drinking from the Mississippi River. I don't think it is sufficient evidence that one cannot get a disease by being bitten by a leech that you haven't yet done so, despite having been bitten several times. It's like saying that, well, I've had unprotected sex with a bunch of people, but I've never gotten a venereal disease. Like, that's true. Again, I don't know. Maybe there are no diseases that you can get from a leech, but it's not worth the risk, it seems to me. Maybe they're like those medical sterile leeches. They won't be if you let them drink your blood. You've changed leeches that are for that purpose into leeches you can no longer use for that purpose. There are lots of diseases you can get from leeches. There are no diseases I can get from leeches. I'd have to go outside my house in order for that to happen. There's no leeches in my house. There are diseases that leeches can spread, but it's pretty rare and only happens when you remove them improperly and cause them to regurgitate into the wound they made. Which can't happen with a bag of blood. Do I have any communicable disease? I have rapid onset gender dysphoria, and I will spread it to as many people as I can. And it's real. Put in the newspaper that I said it's real. I've never seen a leech IRL. I've definitely seen people get leeches, like going swimming in a pond or whatever. I actually have a leech attached to my foot right now. I was collecting watercress and leeches from the stream. I trout fished today and just got home. You might want to deal with that situation. Although I will say, I was going to say it would give you a 5% increase to your damage against bosses, but that's ticks, not leeches. What if leeches can crawl up your house through the toilet like rats? They'd have to get past so many ghoulies to do it. The Binding of Isaac was so formative for me in 6th grade. I am turning to dust. Oh no. I didn't love hearing that. Sorry, I think it was the 8th. That's fine then. What's scarier, a lot of little leeches or one unnaturally big leech? The lots of little ones, I think, would be scarier. Probably. I'm not really scared of either. You just get out of the water. Then they can't get you. No, like King Kong. If a leech was the size of King Kong, it would have no interest in me. It couldn't get my blood because if it tried, it would just rip me apart. It's so little blood for it to get. It wouldn't give a shit. A leech the size of King Kong would need to attach to like a Godzilla creature in order to get the requisite amount of blood. Did Jordan Peterson die? Why is everybody talking about Jordan Peterson? Did something happen? Did he? Blue Sky is not loading, which is what one would expect if Jordan Peterson had died. No, I'm not seeing anything about this. Although I am seeing an article from Wired that says, never talk about goblins, gremlins, raccoons, trolls, ogres, pigeons, or other animals or creatures unless it is absolutely and unambiguously relevant, reads OpenAI's coding agent instructions. Jordan Peterson seems to be alive and kicking. Well, he's alive. He's probably not kicking. Someone asked what Jordan Peterson was up to. Isn't he like currently hospitalized because of black mold? I was 6 when The Binding of Isaac came out. I'm 21 now. Fuck. Yeah, I guess the game is 15 years old, so I don't know why I'm finding this so surprising. The Surfs released a video about Peterson's last hospital stay. Yeah, I saw that already. It's okay. I'm older than you. I grew up on DOS, and like most of what is said about the passage of time turns me to dust. You think I'm too young to have grown up on DOS? You think I have not played Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? I'm knitting a sock. What should I name it? What was the name of that gay guy from that video game he was all mad about? Vindicator or something? What was the name of the gay man in the video game that made the guy we watched today very mad? Venator? It's Venator, but he kept saying Venerator. I'm kind of with him on this one. Venerator is a better name. Yeah, but call your sock Venator if it is a gay sock. Otherwise, call it Tingle. It's rainbow speckled? Venator then. Venator is the Latin word for hunter. Okay. Sounds like a Pokemon, but okay. Hunting that D. Damn right. Hunting is gay. I have nothing to justify that. It's simply something that I imagine would make right-wing people upset, so I said it. But I really can't justify that opinion. I mean, I could justify it. Like, why are you, a man, looking for big, strong animals? You know, but sure, whatever. Can we talk about how guns are not masculine? You can hunt without a gun. You could hunt with a bow and arrow or a Bowie knife stuck between your teeth. But you're dehumanizing the right when you do that, Mildred? Yeah, because I'm doing it to steal power, but to incite a revolution where I become the only person with power. Obviously. Tatum the Himbo, thank you for the subscription. Hunting for bears at the night spots. I don't think hunters typically hunt bears, do they? I would think hunters, if anything, are trying to avoid bears. if there's anything we love, it's the concentration of power in individuals. Yes, this is what I'm always saying. That everyone else shouldn't have power, but it should all be given to me. I should be kind of the, if I were to put a word to it, the archon of the world, of the entire world. I believe this. The Venator. There's places you can hunt for bears. Why? Hunters do indeed sometimes hunt bears, but are they supposed to? Just, do they eat them? Do they eat the bears? Is bear good? Does bear taste good? I think bears, they can't complain if people hunt and eat them because they do it to us. They can't be mad. Like, I know that the bear doesn't have a gun, but I think even if it did, I don't think it would be as good at using it as we are. Well, I learned a lot about bears today. You could give the bear a gun first to even the playing field. I think you should just give bears guns anyway. I don't think it's a matter of fairness. I just think the world is improved when bears have guns. That's true. They have the right to bear arms. You're right. And the right to arm bears. Good point, Dillis Filler. If you have bear meat, you have to make sure it's cooked all the way through because of parasites. One could make that claim for most meats. Most of them you're not supposed to eat until they've been cooked. That's one of the most important things about meat. They usually just hunt the chill bear, though. I think if you're going to hunt a bear, it should be a polar bear. I think that's where our efforts should be. Of course, the leftist wants to kill the white bears. It's because polar bears are the most evil of bears. Pandas probably taste the best since they're vegetarian, but they eat bamboo, and that famously slows down their metabolism quite a bit. I imagine no, I don't think a panda would taste good at all. Panda Express tastes pretty good. Polar bear is definitely the worst tasting and also one of the most endangered. Yeah, we should finish the job. But don't eat polar bear. Polar bears, yes, they have a lethal amount of vitamin A in their livers. Yes. And they have blue tongues. Thoughts on Daredevil Born Again? I've been loving the show so much that I've bought a bunch of Daredevil comics recently. It's great. The second season has been fucking all killer, no filler. And Daredevil is gay and trans as well. What about puffins? What point are you hoping to make about puffins? Careful with your words. That is the provincial bird of my home province. So be careful how you speak of puffins. I want to know what cryptids taste like. Give me a nice Jersey Devil steak. Like with most things, if I could only eat one cryptid, it would be the Fresno Nightcrawler. Just for everyone's edification, this is the Fresno Nightcrawler. It's a spooky ghost jeans. It's a pair of jeans that is a spooky ghost. And I bet it's fucking delicious. Nothing to add, just gratefully enjoying the chat at work and felt like it. Thank you so much. I expect them to taste like roasted marshmallows. Well, you just ruined it for me because that's exactly right. You're 100% right. God damn it. You ruined the mystery for me because you just nailed it in one. Yes. Or they could also, I guess, taste like a turnip or a rutabaga. Perhaps. A Montauk monster would probably be pretty good too. No, and I regret saying that. I don't think a Montauk monster would be any good at all. I was thinking of a very different monster. This does not look like it would taste good. No, thank you. I was incorrect. I was thinking of what's the one that looks like the heart, the spade card suit, and it's actually just a barn owl, but people make it look like an alien. You know the one I'm talking about? Flatwoods monster, yes. Yeah, this guy. You know that'd be good. What does that taste like? I'm gonna close that tab because it's scaring me. It's too scary. So spooky. Oh, thank you. Shelob would be like shrimp, I think. I mean, surely you could eat a spider and know what spiders taste like. All it would take for us to find this out would be to eat spiders. Would you have to crack open the Flatwoods monster like a crab or something? It's kind of, yeah, I'm imagining that there's like a meaty center to it. Yeah, for sure. I've been attacked by a barn owl as well. I was yelling at it while cleaning a squirrel carcass, and it got irritated and swooped on me, clawed my face, and then flew away. Probably wanted the squirrel carcass, is probably its motivation there. I feel like the consistency of a Shelob would be different from that of your garden variety spider. Ground your axioms. Why do you feel that way? There's a whole anime about eating monsters called Dungeon Dining or something like that. It's called Delicious in Dungeon or Dungeon Meshi. The many legs getting in the teeth dominates eating a regular spider. ad hominem. The Shelob would be fed on mostly large mammals, and that would definitely affect the flavor. It's an appeal to authority. I'm really winning this argument. Which wouldn't be the case for Shelob. The burden of proof. Shelob can turn into a human woman. It changes her flavor. Argument from ignorance. I agree that Shelob terroir would be distinct versus seafood especially. Argument from incredulity. I'm really on top of this. At one point, is eating a cryptid too close to cannibalism? I would say any humanoid animal. If you eat a centaur, I think that is cannibalism. Yes. But I don't feel that if you eat a horse, it's cannibalism. If you eat a werewolf, I think that is cannibalism, even if it's in werewolf form. Oh. I think if you only ate the bottom half of a centaur, you would, because eventually, where horse meets man, right? There's some negotiable area there, right? I feel like inside the horse bits, there's some human bits. And I feel like if you eat all the horse bits, you're going to end up eating some human bits. Is eating Bigfoot cannibalism? I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's technically cannibalism. I'm not endorsing it. But if you're a Bigfoot, then yes. Shelob is sapient. You don't want to eat her. That's not even in the top 10 reasons why I don't want to eat Shelob. There's a lot of reasons I would not find the prospect enticing. What about eating vampires? Ooh, now that's a good question. Because no one would say that the vampire is a cannibal, right? The vampire eat you. That's not cannibalism. But I do feel like eating a vampire is, I can't necessarily justify why, but I do strongly feel that eating a vampire would constitute cannibalism, yes. That's a good point. It would turn you into a vampire, which would make it retroactively cannibalism. Vampires turn to dust when killed, so you have to eat them alive. Vampires, by definition, cannot be alive. Is eating a zombie cannibalism? I mean, it's a bad idea. I think we can all agree on that. Wherever we land on the issue, don't eat zombies. And I think it also depends. Are we talking a Night of the Living Dead zombie, or are we talking like a classical voodoo zombie? Very different answers. Both are cannibalism. Interesting. Ground your axioms. I feel like most zombies you would just be eating rotting flesh, but that's beside the point. Yeah, obviously you would be. And all flesh by definition is like rotting. If like all meat is rotting as well. Like it, but uh counterpoint, when you play Minecraft and you kill a zombie, it does drop food that you probably do eat. My cat is biting my foot. Is that cannibalism? No, it is not. If your cat bit another cat's foot, that would be cannibalism. Or if you bit a human's foot with the intention of consuming it, not merely because you got your own arrangement going on, then that would be cannibalism. Yucky cannibalism. I guess all cannibalism is kind of yucky. I feel like we've gone too far. I agree. We went, but only those who go too far can possibly know how far one can go. What if you eat a vampire while it's in bat form? I don't think that is cannibalism, but I do think doing so could create COVID. You could create COVID 2026 by doing that. And so don't do that. In the top 10 things I hope I never have to do, eating another human being to survive is way up there. I don't foresee that happening to you if it's any constellation. I would imagine you're probably not going to be reduced to that choice, statistically. Can't guarantee it, but, probably not, right? If you eat a vampire when it's in mist form, I think that's technically vaping then. What about a minotaur eating me? I don't think it would. Minotaur's face is Bull. Bull eats grass. Bull doesn't eat people. Are you grass? If you're grass, it might eat you. My hometown claims to be the morel mushroom capital of the world, but due to environmental changes now, every year we have a festival and the town imports them. How should I expose this lie? Why expose the lie when you could grow an enormous amount of morel mushrooms and be the change you wish to see in the world? The Minotaur was put in the labyrinth because he wanted to eat people? What? Hey, Greeks, get your shit together. No part of being a Minotaur should make you want to eat people. People don't like eating people. Bulls don't like eating people. Why would the combination thereof enjoy eating people? Is the combination of someone who eats hamburgers, or whatever the ancient Greek equivalent to a hamburger is, and grass, if you combine those things, is that a person? Morel mushrooms aren't possible to be cultivated? They're too particular about the conditions they need? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was talking to a quitter. I thought you wanted there to be more morel mushrooms, but I guess you just don't really want it that bad. My mistake. I hope this does not come across as rude. I haven't seen any content from Thought Slime in a while, and they look like they lost a lot of weight. I'm curious, is their health okay? I've been running a great deal, 30 to 40 kilometers a week, thereabout. Probably has something to do with it. Bad argument. Humans are not that strong. Wolf not that strong either. Werewolf, force of nature strong. Combinations can be different than parts. I'm sorry. You lost me at wolves are not that strong. Wolf, very strong. Wolf is a strong animal. And I don't think that the danger of a werewolf is that it increases the strength of the bearer of the curse. It is that they have the requisite strength of a man, perhaps increased proportional to that of a wolf, with the savagery of a wolf, without the moral considerations of a human. If a wolf man eats people, is that cannibalism? Yes. Unequivocally. That's why we're trying to cure werewolves. That's why werewolves are a problem. Wolves are social though, so I think werewolves would be chill. A pack of werewolves would be chill with each other. They probably wouldn't be chill with you unless you were a werewolf, and you're not. I feel like we're starting a World of Darkness Reddit thread here. Why? Because you're afraid of the issues? I think plenty of things are bad, but that doesn't make them cannibalism. Name one thing that is bad but is not cannibalism. Name even one. I'll wait. Suppose I raised a werewolf from a werepup. It couldn't be done. Couldn't be done because they're only a werewolf during the full moon. Necrophilia isn't cannibalism? Yeah, it is. How's it not? Might have missed it at the very start. Is Pokemon Thursday going to happen? We'll see. I'm going to stop promising it's going to happen, and I'm going to try to make it happen. How about eating people? Surely that isn't cannibalism. Okay, well, yeah. All right, there's one. Not being a werewolf seems like a problem that could easily be fixed, depending on canon. How would you fix it? You think you're going to very easily get bitten by a werewolf and then abscond? How would you avoid the inevitable engorgling you would face? Shitting your pants is not cannibalism and most people find it bad. What if the shit in your pants is digested people? Then it is cannibalism. QED. Now I'm stretching. I'm sorry. I thought we were talking logic here. Let's be honest, how much of your anti-werewolfism is just because you are a lover of vampires? First of all, I don't hate werewolves. Don't say that I hate werewolves. I don't. And I certainly don't love vampires. We don't take chances with vampires around here, as I'm constantly saying vampires are not welcome. Secondly, I don't. My position is that werewolfism is a very serious medical condition, and the respectful way to do it is to fund research into how it might be cured without a silver bullet. One time I fell off a building when I was 11. It wasn't cannibalism. Yeah, but you fell off because you were running from someone who was trying to eat you. So that was cannibalism. You let Dracula on your movie podcast? Yeah, and look what happened. It was a disaster. He didn't do any of the research. I had to talk the whole episode. I wouldn't be in a situation where a werewolf would try to eat me to begin with. Well, yeah, technically nobody would be because they're not real. So there's that. Personally, I think fully cognizant werewolves are scarier than feral ones. If by this you mean a werewolf that is their human mind is aware while their werewolf body is going about its dirty deeds, sure. But if you mean that like a werewolf who is just a person becomes half wolf and their personality doesn't change, I think that is far less scary. Most people, even if they had the strength, speed, endurance of a wolf, would not gorble you, whereas a wolf, by contrast, would. Wait, are we denying there's an objective truth about fictional werewolves? This is what the video warned us about that leftists would try to do. I'm not saying that, but I am saying all werewolves are gay. Do you think werewolves eat mummies? Would that be cannibalism? Only white werewolves do that. What about werehumans, wolves that turn into humans, and when they wake up after a frenzy, they're just laying down in front of a lawnmower and neatly trimmed lawn? Scary to think about. I feel though, like if you're a wolf and you're a werehuman, you get turned into a human into full moon, then all the other wolves are just going to attack you. Do I take Hogslop recommendations? Absolutely. You can't post a link, but by all means. Wolves don't attack people very commonly. You're a wolf. I think you're a wolf trying to trick me. I don't believe that. I believe that if there's a wolf around, it's bad news bears for me. I'm not going to listen to this pro-wolf apologia. All werewolves are gay. This is the kind of news I'm here for. How gay are mummies? Mummies come from a culture that didn't understand sexuality the same way that you and I did. Where do we stand on chupacabras? Probably the safest place to stand would be their back. Ghosts? Is that a question? No, not ghosts. What is the least gay cryptid? That's a good question. Probably. Whoa, that's a tough one. I can't think of a single non-gay cryptid. Oh man, they're all. Oh man. Oh no. I was just gauging feelings on ghosts in general. It depends on who it's the ghost of. What's the most gay cryptid? Fresno Nightcrawler. Oh, the question wasn't non-gay; it was least gay. Yeah, but it's like trying to, you know, uh, rank colors according to which is the most red. I think this would be the perfect time to pivot back to Naruto. You're saying that Naruto is the least gay cryptid. The most red is red for sure. See, I disagree. I think the most red is scarlet. Naruto can't be the least gay cryptid. There's footage of him kissing a guy. I don't see what's gay about that. There's a million reasons someone could kiss someone and it not be sexual. Sounds like you don't kiss your friends, and that's maybe your problem. I mean, if it's gay all of a sudden for two men to kiss on the lips, what have we come to? You know, it's what the woke does is they're always trying to change the meaning of words. Yellow is 50% red, or is red 50% yellow? Depends on how you look at it. I think it depends on whether it is additive or subtractive color. Is Naruto a cannibal? Yeah, all the dick he's eating, he sure is. I'm not proud of myself. What the fuck? I turned on my microwave and my router stopped working. Should have taken it out of the microwave first. In additive and subtractive color systems, both red is red. It is not part yellow. It's ad hominem. Stone Corbel. Nice. All right. I think we're losing our minds over here. I think it's about time to call it, because we've deteriorated to such a point that I can't even call this content anymore. I hope you all enjoyed. I pray you all enjoyed. I'm gonna now listen. I'm gonna send you to a real life friend of mine. Don't be weird freaks about it, okay? I don't want you asking him a bunch of questions about cannibal chupacabras and shit, okay? Be cool. Be cool. And what did I remember? Okay, be cool. Have fun, everyone. I'll maybe see you Thursday. We will see how the situation unfolds. Goodbye for now.